What is good, YouTube? We're back for another YouTube video breakdown for the NBA games today, February 20th. And guys, if you guys watched that last video, we absolutely smoked the YouTube. Hornets covered and won outright, and again win super underman. So if you want to get some more winners today, I'm going to break down the full NBA slate. But before I do, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, put that thumbs up for that YouTube algorithm so you can see me keep on coming up here and dropping these gems. Hit that alert bell. You don't want to miss me keeping up here and dropping plays like this, man, because what I say can get you paid. Let's keep on smoking the books. But before I do want to mention one of our partners, man. Look, I want to keep on stressing, man. You guys want to have as many books as possible because the lines are different between all books, whether it's player props, totals, and game size. But I'm giving you guys the best new book that's on the market by far. If you use my code LOCK on NOVIG, you get 50% off your first deposit. But not only that, man, I'm going to show you guys the huge difference in the lines, man. Just take a look. If you wanted to bet the Hornets money line, like I said, they could win that game. You would bet it on FanDuel. This FanDuel up on top. You would have gotten plus 480, but on Nova, you got plus 576. That's a huge difference, bro. That's 100. You put $100, another $176 you would have won if the Hornets would have won. And even the lines, look, if maybe not in this example, but could have gotten the Lakers 11.5 over here, 12.5. So, guys, if there's any book you want to join, if you have FanDuel, you have DraftKings, available in 42 different states, so almost everyone watching this can get on it, especially in California, Texas, and Florida, where you have to use offshore books or DFS apps. Trust me, this is one of the best ones. Use code LOCK on your first deposit. And if you do, just send me a DM on Instagram. I'll get you in for a free week as well. And just take a look at this, man. You're going to see more of these as we go on. But let me stop doing this and let's get straight to the meat and bones, man. Get on NOVIG, join using my link. And, man, you'll have the best book in the market, man. So let me go to it. Let's see, screen. Gotta go share it. All right. All right, guys. So let's go talk about some of these games right here in the NBA tonight. The first game we're going to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies against the Indiana Pacers. Memphis and Indiana have been two of the hottest teams, I think, in the NBA since the new start of the year. Obviously, we're in the second half of the season so far. In terms of how the teams have been doing, obviously, I think the Memphis Grizzlies have been excellent everywhere, offensively, defensively, and they have a very, very strong bench, bro. I mean, some of their bench players could be starters in other games, whether it's Vince Williams, even like I think Scottie Pippen Jr. is a great off-the-bench piece. But their starting line with Zach Edey, John Moran, Bane, Jalen Wells, they did trade Marcus Smart. It's going to be very good. Both teams play at a pretty fast pace. Memphis plays, depending on what game log you look at the fastest pace in the NBA. In terms of injuries, there's not too many big injuries right now. But in terms of where the bets are at, right? Money line, spread, looks like a lot more bets are on Memphis Grizzlies. I guess it kind of makes sense. But I will say, man, the Pacers have been a pretty strong team so far. They're only 2.5-point dogs at home, so it's a very, very close line. Memphis has actually been pretty good on the road. Even in previous years, they've been pretty good on the road. But better home team. I think both teams match up pretty good in terms of defense and offensively. Memphis is able to drive at the basket, shoot threes. Pacers, the same thing. They're very good in transition, but Memphis has a really, really strong defense. So it really, to me, it really depends on whose will gets imposed more. Can Memphis stop the turnovers and the transition baskets and attacks at the rim? I think they can. They have Zach Edey. They have Jaren Jackson Jr., two really strong defensive players. But we take a look at the one thing I did want to say is that if you take a look at the Pacers' last two games, man, I mean, they were doing okay, right? Like, they barely beat Washington. That's not a good look. They should have honestly lost that game. I actually had Washington first quarter in that game. They were blowing them out. Then, obviously, Pacers came back, won the game outright, but that's not a good look, man. They were huge favorites in that game. The Knicks got blown out. The Lakers got blown out. They beat the Clippers, but I think the Clippers didn't have a few guys. And then on the Memphis side, they've been not doing super good either. Lost to OKC, but that's okay. OKC's the best team in the West, in my opinion. Lost to the Suns, but I don't think Ja Morant was playing, and the Clippers, they lost too. So both teams have not been doing good before the break. But in this spot, man, I'm going to roll with the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies have the better defense, and I actually think they have more options offensively. Deeper team. I just have not liked the way the Pacers have looked. I don't know what it's been, but at least now they got Miles Turner back. That's a big difference in this game. I'm not super huge on this play, but I do think Memphis overall the better team, and they'll get the job done in this spot. All right, guys, next game on the board, we do have the Boston Celtics against the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly getting 7.5 points at home. There's no major injuries. The thing is, Joel Embiid is coming back in this game. He's going to be playing for the 76ers. And I don't know, man. Look, I'm simply put, even though Embiid's back, he has not been that great playing with this team. I think he's kind of been actually hurting them. He's hurting the flow. So I don't really care that he's back. Tyrese Maxey has been having an amazing season so far. But also Paul George, he's been getting a lot of slack on social media for his terrible performances. And I don't think it gets much better here, man. Everything you look at in terms of the stats, everywhere you go, Boston's going to be the much better team. And I think they're getting a short line just because they have not been really covering too many games so far in the season. If you've been betting Boston at the spread, you've been going broke. Simply put, take a look at their last 2 games. Yes, they've been covering these last 2, but before that, weren't doing that great. They beat the brakes off the Knicks, beat the brakes off the Miami Heat, and beat the brakes off the San Antonio Spurs. I think another short line on the road. I think Boston can totally destroy this team. I think they have the capacity to do so. And look, man, the 76ers in their own right have not been doing that great. All right, they've not covered in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think even this one they were favorites 6 games in a row. So give me the Boston Celtics. I think they're better everywhere, man. They should be beating in the breaks of every East Coast team, but we'll see. I like the Celtics here at this, I think, shorter line. 7.5. I don't care that Embiid's back. Give me the Boston Celtics minus 7.5. All right, guys, next game on the board. We have a bunch of them coming up, guys. So again, please, if you guys like these type of videos or you want other types of videos, just put it down in the comments down below. You want player props, you want only one game. Just trying to go through every single game. But if you want to know everything we're doing in premium, I'm not betting every single game I'm giving out in these YouTube videos. I'm just trying to help you guys get the best information possible. So again, hit that subscribe button, but let me know what you want to see more of. All right, next game, we have the New York Knicks against the Chicago Bulls. New York Knicks laying a big number in the Garden, 12.5 point favorites, and I guess it kind of makes sense, man. I mean, look, the Knicks fully healthy. Anunoby should be back. I mean, the Chicago Bulls really have nobody to play with. Josh Giddey, Lonzo Ball, Kobe White is their main starting lineup. I don't think it's a strong starting lineup at all. Everywhere, man. I mean, look, the Knicks have a really much better defense. They have the size. Karl-Anthony Towns has looked incredible so far this season. In terms of the matchup, I mean, defensively, they're one of the worst defenses in the league. Knicks have a pretty average to above average defense, but their offense has really been clicking, man. Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, Brunson, they should get the job done on this team. Even though it's a huge number, I just don't see how the Chicago Bulls can keep up. Of course, it's a big number, man. Any team can cover big numbers like this. I don't love personally laying big numbers like this. I'd probably just avoid it. If anything, I kind of am looking at the total here. I think if you like, because I know a lot of you guys like betting overs, I would say bet on props. It's definitely going to be a lot of scoring opportunities. This game will probably be pretty fast-paced. The Bulls play at the 3rd fastest pace in the league so far behind the Atlanta Hawks and the Grizzlies, who we mentioned earlier in this video. So, yeah, man, I think the Knicks better everywhere. I think the Knicks get the job done. You met this big number, but again, I personally don't like laying numbers like this. I'd rather do props or something else. But take a look at this total, man. Very high. It's the 2nd highest, I believe, right behind this one, the Grizzlies and Pacers game. So a lot of points, a lot of opportunities to be had. So take a look at this game. But I think the Knicks should get a big win over this Bulls team, who's been very, very lackluster and pretty much have given up on their season. All right, guys. Next game, we got the Brooklyn Nets getting 13 points at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and everyone's on Cleveland, bro. I mean, it makes total sense. Cleveland is probably, in my opinion, I still say it's very contrarian, the best team on the East. You definitely can say the Boston Celtics are for sure, man. I'm not trying to argue with it at all. Nets have nothing really to give. I mean, they don't have a strong lineup, but this is a big number at home, bro. Getting 13 points doesn't really matter, though, but the Cleveland Cavaliers have been one of the best covering teams in general this season, whether it's home or away. But against big numbers, haven't been doing too good. I mean, I'll say this. Look, they beat the brakes off Toronto. They didn't cover against the Wizards, who have been playing very well, man. Be careful with this Wizards team, bro. They've been playing pretty strong. And the Brooklyn Nets in their own right have been doing okay, man. They won outright against Miami, won outright against Charlotte. It's not a huge victory. And they won outright against Philly. I mean, not amazing victories, but games that, people were counting them out against. The Nets have been a pretty decent scrappy team. They've been staying in games, and this is just a trend and system. The one spot you want to bet the Nets have been being at home, getting a lot of points. Of course, this is not the same team. There's no Ben Simmons. Not saying that he's an amazing player, but a lot of no Dorian Finney-Smith. This is a totally different lineup. You have Russell, Keon Johnson, Zaire Williams, Cam Johnson, and Nick Claxton. So who's the better team? Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. The Cleveland Cavaliers are better everywhere, bro. Offensively, defensively. I mean, there's no question about it, man. I mean, the Nets are one of the worst offensive teams in the league. But like I said, man, I think there's too many points. I think the Cavs can definitely get through it, bro. But for the game pick for the video, this is a system play, man. I mean, games like this I try to avoid. This will probably be a very defensive game. Believe it or not, the Nets actually have a pretty decent defense. So I actually think if their defense can hold in some type of fashion, over the last 5 games, they have the highest, if they have one of the highest rated defenses in the league, number 1 in the last 5 games. So in this one, man, I'm going to go contrarian, bro. I'm going to take the Nets plus 13, big system play. It's been a trend that's worked a lot. I'm not saying the Nets are going to win this game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Nets got absolutely crushed, but being the number 1 defense, they do have some type of spark getting Cam Johnson back and putting D'Angelo Russell in that starting lineup. I think they lose this game by 10 points. Well, give me the Brooklyn Nets plus 13. All right, guys, we're almost halfway there. There's a bunch more games, man, so bear with me. We have the next game, the Orlando Magic against the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta, 1.5-point dogs at home. Magic getting some respect, bro. They're starting to get some respect, but it looks like a lot of bets, a lot of money are all over the Hawks at that plus money, which I say it again, just like the Nets, the place you want to bet the Hawks are at home, getting points. And it's been a very, very profitable system. You've just been following that. Of course, it's not a lot of points, so it's really whoever wins this game. And I'll be honest, dude, the Magic have been lackluster, even though they have a lot of their guys back. Orlando, the only guy that's been out is Jalen Suggs, but Cole Anthony starting point guard, I think he's going to do great. Atlanta gave up a lot of guys, traded Trey Hunter, Jalen Johnson's out for the rest of the season, Larry Nance is still out, so they're running with a lot of guards in this game. Totals at 223, a very low total for a usual Hawks game. But take a look at that injury report, man. I mean, Hawks have pretty much given up on their season. Even though they're 26-29, I don't think they're really playing for much anymore. The team's not that competitive, in my opinion. They're missing a lot of guys, even though I really love Dyson Daniels, Okongwu playing in that game. Even Richardson has been a great piece to the Hawks team. I don't know, man. I just don't see it. However, I'll say this. The Magic, in their own right, have not been playing that well, even with all their guys coming back. They did get a victory over the Charlotte Hornets, but who can't beat the Charlotte Hornets? Hey, except the Lakers. But they are, the one thing I will say about Orlando, they are playing with revenge. They're playing on the road, though, not their best spot, but they're playing with revenge on the road. The Hawks, man, I mean, and in the Magic, get right in this game. They've been playing, I think they need some more time to get all the starters back together. They have Goga Batadze, Banchero, Franz Wagner, and KCP. I honestly think, even though I'm going against the grain here, and the Magic have not been the best at covering, even with all their guys back, I like the Magic here. Money line, -1.5. I don't think the money line's a big juice, -120, but I think the Magic have the better defense, and they have the offense to exploit this Hawks defense who has not been that great, man. I mean, I don't care what you want to say. Atlanta Hawks has never had a really strong defense in general, and it's only gotten worse since Jalen Johnson and Hunter have been out. And I think the Orlando Magic stepped up, man. They have a top 5 defense over the last 7 games, so I think we can see it happen. And in a revenge spot, even though it's not their best spot on the road, I think they come in here and beat the Hawks outright. All right, guys, let's see. Let's talk about this next game. Before I do, let me get a little sip of this. Get some brain power right here, man. Smoothly I made. All right. We have the Clippers against the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee getting 1.5 points at home as dogs. The big thing about this game is just the injury report, right? So it's really tough for me to make a decision, but it looks like a lot of big money is on the Clippers according to this site. You have to use many sites to really figure out who's playing or not. So don't use that as the only indication, guys. But the big injury is really this. I mean, this will determine the entire game in my analysis. Giannis, is he going to play or not? I don't know if he's going to play. Same thing with Lillard. I think By the way the line looks, I think one of them doesn't play. I don't know if Giannis is going to be playing or not. It's tough for me to really make a determination. I think Lillard does play. I think Jackson plays. But if Giannis doesn't play, I don't know if I really like this Bucks team against the Clippers team who have such a strong defense. Kawhi Leonard, he's a game time decision, but I think he plays too. So because there's so many injuries, and as you famously have seen me say many, many times, it's too tough for me to really just like give a pick like that. But I do want, if it's a pick'em game, and even if Giannis comes back, I still think the Clippers have a decent shot at beating this team. It's just the problem with the Clippers that their offense has been so lackluster. And Milwaukee, they've actually stepped it up on the defensive side so far this in the past 5 games. They were bottom of the league and now kind of been league average. So I think they kind of cancel out. It just really depends on the injuries right now. And in terms of the head-to-head, the last time you guys played was back all the way in January. I don't remember if Giannis was playing or not, but Milwaukee is playing with revenge at home. A good spot for them, but I don't know, man. I still like the Clippers in this spot. I think the Clippers, they have such an elite defense. They just got to get their offense going. And I don't know if this Milwaukee team without Giannis will be able to do so. But we'll see, man. But for the game pick right now, yeah, without Giannis, I just can't really make a strong decision. I would skip this game personally, but if I had to make a game pick, I'm assuming Giannis ain't going to play, man. It's tough for me to think so, but I like the Clippers -1.5. I think they win again at this short line, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised. Stay up with me on Instagram or Twitter. I might put an update to see if Giannis comes back or not, or my Telegram, all right? All right, guys, we have the next few games. I'm trying to run through these games in the next 5 minutes, and then we'll be out of here, man. Charlotte Hornets against the Denver Nuggets, man. Charlotte laying 15.5 points on the road. They get that big win against the Lakers. Simply put, I'm going to say it like this, man. It's tough to go back-to-back anywhere, but it's the toughest to go back-to-back on the road in Denver. Denver's been playing excellent in that thin air. It's going to be a tough game. It's a lot of points, though. Ton of points. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be all over the Nuggets. It makes sense. I don't really want to lay 15.5 points, but I also don't want to back the Hornets, man. I don't know if they're going to be able to cover this big number, even though it's so large on the back-to-back. It's a really tough travel spot for them. Big win against the hottest team in the NBA in terms of hype with Luka and LeBron. So I think it'll be a possible flat spot. They may sit LaMelo a few guys because they're obviously, especially Mark Williams, because of rest purposes. But I don't know, man. Give me the Nuggets. I don't love it. Maybe you could bet it first half because maybe they come out fast and then maybe they only win by 13, 14 points at the end. But yeah, I'm not in love with this game. I don't really love playing around teams with big numbers on back-to-back, especially going into Denver. All right, next game, we have the Phoenix Suns against the San Antonio Spurs. Phoenix laying 2.5 points on the road. Big injury on the board is that Devin Booker may not be playing. We'll see. Look, right now, I can't really tell you. He is a game-time decision. Tough to play confidently about him. Victor Wembanyama, he's a game-time decision, but I see on all the indication that he is not playing, man. So if he does not play, this Spurs team, they are strong. They have good guards, but I don't know if they're deep enough, even with De'Aaron Fox, to even compete with the Suns, even without Devin Booker. So this is a very, very tough game, man. I mean, 2 big stars out on each side, possibly. If Devin Booker plays, which it seems like he's more likely to play than Wembanyama, I like the Suns in the spot, especially with the upside that Booker can play. If he doesn't play, I think the Suns can beat the San Antonio team, but not my favorite game on the board at all. But for the purposes of this video, wrong one. I'm going to go with the Suns -2.5. I'll probably do maybe first half, first quarter might be the better way to play this game, especially with no Wemby on the other side. This site says that he's the GTD, but other sites I see that he's not going to play. All right, guys. Let's talk about the next one, man. 10 p.m. Eastern time games, a lot of them. 2 more left. We got the Los Angeles Lakers against one of my favorite teams, man, the Portland Trailblazers, and Portland getting 3.5 points at home. Big injuries, though. Obviously, a lot of people betting on the Lakers, but the biggest thing on the board is this, simply this. LeBron is a game-time decision. Does he play today? Play today? He's not on this, but on another site that I do use, he's a game-time decision along with Jackson Hayes. I imagine LeBron plays. Here's a tough travel spot, back-to-back on the road, going into Portland. Portland's a tough team to play against, man. They've been getting it together, 23-32 on the season. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the last 7 games. I mean, they've really, really been stepping it up, man. I mean, I don't know too many teams that have been playing as well as them. They didn't win their last few games, though. I will say that. They're not playing as dominantly. They're not, undefeated like they were, like I think 7 games in a row. They lost outright their last 3 games, but against really tough competition, bro. The Minnesota Timberwolves and Denver both on the road. Now they're back home and against a matchup which I think is pretty favorable because the Lakers love to attack the basket and the Portland Trailblazers, they're pretty good. They've been pretty good almost everywhere. The one thing I will say is like their best spot among most areas has really been at the rim. Portland, they prevent a lot of 3-point shots and they make you attack the rim and they're pretty good and effective over there. So if they could do that, I mean, I think Portland can get the job done. Portland's been one of the best teams. It's been a wagon for me betting on them so far this season. Their defensive numbers have slipped a little bit, though. I will say that. It hasn't been the absolute best over the past 5. But if you look at over the past 10 games, man, Portland's been up there, man. They've been one of the better defensive teams in the league. But so have the Lakers, bro. You saw how low scoring that game was. I really think that the Lakers, on a back-to-back, it's tough to back them. If you take a look at one little thing I want to show you guys. Show you. Let's go through this filter real quick. Back-to-back. Lakers have actually been not too bad on back-to-back games. 60% in their last 5 games. They didn't cover against Philly, but they did cover against, let's see. They covered against Atlanta and San Antonio. This number is wrong. It's basing off them as 2.5. We're using the real numbers here. They are 2-3 in their last 5, but Portland, honestly, they're young, man. It doesn't really matter what they do. It's just really about when they're at home, bro. When they're at home, they have been an absolute wagon. They have not lost a game. They have not covered a game in their last 5 games at home. And I think in a back-to-back spot, Portland takes advantage. They use their pace and their aggressiveness, and they get a nice dub. Plus 2.5, give me, or plus 3.5, give me Portland. I think they win this game outright. All right, guys. Last game on the board. Thank you so much for watching with me, guys. Again, if you guys do want to bet on the best book in the world, in the U.S. right now with the best lines, I really suggest you guys get on my boys on NOVIG. Before I give you the last one right here, I have to show you guys, just so it embeds in your head that you guys get on this. Make sure you get on NOVIG. Sign up. Use code LOCK on your first deposit. You get up to a 50% deposit discount. And you get the best lines in the industry, man. So let's do it. The last game on the board, man. Let me pull up my other screen again. And here we go. All right. So I have to get on a call real soon. Let's talk about this game right here, man. Actually, I think we're done. Actually, we're done, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. If you've been thinking this is helpful, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next one.